All right. Welcome to the fourth edition of Cam's Hot Seat with your host Cam Perry. We got we got a guest today. He's one of my good friends. Cam Perry. Good friends is Dylan Standridge. So, for people who don't know about you, introduce yourself before we get started.
All right, I'm Dylan Standridge. You can find me on all social media as dstandridge92. Graduated last year from USC in sociology and linguistics, and I'm currently going to Georgetown for a sports management program and hoping to get a good sports gig. Big sports fanatic as well.
All right. So, the first topic we're going to talk about is something that most people were highly upset about, and that was about the NFL Hall of Fame game. I'm sure most of you guys know it was canceled. The NFL canceled it. I think that was a travesty for the fans, especially the fans of these teams that travel, especially Packers fans. So I want your take, Dylan, on do you think that the NFL Hall of Fame game should be switched to be the first game of the year?
Um, yeah, that'd probably help out with fans and stuff like that. I thought it was a bit unexpected how they did that last minute, and they kind of were acting like it was unsafe and they were extra old men. But if it was closer to the season, I think that'd help out a bit because everybody would be back in the swing of things and all the fans would already be ready for the season, and it's not kind of out of place when it's in the middle of the summer. Probably not get as many fans because you're out of place like that.
Yeah, I definitely, and to kind of clarify what I meant by that, I definitely feel that if the NFL Hall of Fame game was the first regular season game, like the
Yeah.
opening day game, I feel like that would be a huge coup for the league, and it would be something where the league would be forced to make adjustments because they had all year to prepare for this game, and there should be no excuses why the field should be messed up because that's a sorry excuse because the NFL wouldn't do. I mean, the NBA wouldn't do that. The Major League Baseball wouldn't do that. If they had games that were planned for a Pacific day, they would make sure that it would be corrected before that game actually started.
Yeah, it's a little wild to me. I actually have a buddy that was supposed to work the game, and he called me up and he said they canceled it. And then I saw all the stuff online about canceling it, and I just think it was a crazy deal. But I definitely agree with you that if it was the opening game of the season, it'd not only help with fans, but it'd help with routine. And, they couldn't cancel it if it's the first game of the season, essentially, because people are really expecting to see it and kick off football.
Yeah, most definitely, most definitely. So the next topic we're going to talk about is, and I'm sure most people in Oklahoma City know about this already. And if you didn't, then you must be living under a bridge. It's about Westbrook signing an extension with OKC. Do you think that this was a surprise to most OKC fans, or did OKC fans actually expect him to sign an extension before the season started?
I'm a little bit on the fence because I know a bunch of people expected him to leave, but well, we'll go with that because I feel like most OKC fans thought he was going to leave, but they were rooting for him to stay. But most realists around here, we thought he was out of here. We've heard that his wife doesn't like it here, that he wanted to go back to LA. So it was really a surprise to not just me, but to everybody in Oklahoma City. I really think we all thought he was out of here. And especially after Kevin left, I thought he was gone. I was like, man, they're going to be the next 76ers. But he really came through and did his thing, and I think he really surprised a lot of people. Everyone thought he was out of here going to the Lakers or the Celtics.
Yeah, actually, like the more I thought about it, and I actually told my brother this, I I thought that Westbrook would actually stay. That's why I wasn't really surprised about it because it doesn't make sense for him to go to LA because that's a young team, and the team he currently is with is actually a better ball club than the Lakers. And then the Celtics, they're not going to give up all their assets to get a player when they can wait till the end of the season to sign that player. So they're probably out. The only other team I see that maybe could have got him was the Spurs, but then again, they'd have to do a 3 or 4 team deal just to get him because they don't have the assets to get him. And the only thing they could give him is future first round picks, second round picks, and that wouldn't be enough to please Sam Presti unless Sam Presti just wanted to give him the hometown discount because Sam Presti came originally from the Spurs organization. So it kind of made sense why he would say Oklahoma City because why ruin a good thing? And KD definitely ruined a good thing because he's never going to be celebrated or worshipped, according to some fans, because some fans absolutely adore KD. Remember when we both went to a movie theater to see, I think it was Fast Five or one of those movies,
Yeah,
and
one of the
people were like,
fast.
yeah, and people were like saying, "I love you, KD," and they were like screaming and yelling, chasing after him. He won't get that same thing, Golden State, because OKC fans, they're like college fans. They support their team. They love their team. They're just like the Cameron Crazies or the people at Allen Fieldhouse in Kansas. They absolutely watch every game of theirs, and they pretty much, will ride and die for that player. And I just feel like he'll definitely miss that. And Westbrook just said, "Oh, why would I leave this situation? Because there really isn't a team out there that would be in a better position, than going to and staying where he was at."
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. As time went on, I kind of felt that he would probably stay too because we all know Westbrook's always wanted to be the man. He's a great ball player, but him and Kevin always kind of clash, and apparently that was one of his reasons for leaving. But he will be the man here. Everyone's going to root for him to win a championship, and if they do, they're going to go nuts like Alabama football here. He's just the man now. He's got that status, one of the best players in the league, and Kevin went off, and he's going to be lucky to be the third best player on the Warriors. And if they win a championship, it's not going to be all on his back. But if Westbrook comes out with a chip on his shoulder, they somehow take out Golden State, he's really going to go down as one of the greats because he stuck by his squad side. As time went on, teams didn't want to give up half their players for him. Um, I think he kind of likes it here that it's low key, just like when we were at the theater. You don't get bugged too much, a little, but not near as much as you would in a big city. And the squad he's got right now is way better than anything he would have had in Boston or LA. So he gets to be the man now. Everyone's going to be supporting him, and we'll see how they do in the playoffs. It's going to
Do,
be a good rivalry.
do you think that the reason why KD left was because Westbrook wanted to be the man and he didn't want to share being, the Robin to his Batman or Batman to his Robin? Do you think that was the reason why KD left? Because KD is a real low key guy, real quiet guy, real introverted, and I just feel like his personality just didn't mesh well with Westbrook's. What I mean, people can say all the time that they liked each other, but I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure they didn't really like each other. And if they really did, then Katie would have sent Westbrook a text or called him, preferably called him if they were best buds before he made his decision. Because according to reports, Katie didn't send him a message or call him or anything like that until after he made his decision.
Yeah, I definitely think that's why he left. From everything I've heard from sources from ESPN and Fox Sports, is they were pretty close buddies, but on the court, they definitely didn't get along. But they didn't want it to be like widely known. But I think that's the reason Kevin left, and he always kind of went cold in the last minute. So in the clutch situation, so Westbrook had to take over, or they were indefinitely going to lose. I mean, it was a tricky situation, but I don't think Kevin was ready to be the number one guy, and I think that's part of the reason he left is now he's got a supporting cast and don't have to take all the hate. And Westbrook's sitting here by himself, and he's going to be loved even more. And finally gets to be Batman, and we'll see what he can do as the number one guy on the team.
Okay, so a good segue to that point is Michael Jordan this past week said that Russell Westbrook is a younger version of himself. Your thoughts on that?
I definitely agree because after KD left, I saw a quote immediately from Michael Jordan that said, I would have never outed myself to go play for the Pistons or the Celtics or the Lakers when they were working me over back in the 80s. That was just out of it. And Jordan's a big loyalty guy, and I think Russell's proven that too. He's loyal to the city here. He wants to bring a championship here, and he may even play his whole career here. But I definitely agree that in a sense he's like Michael Jordan because guys just leave left and right now. They want the easiest route to a championship, but Westbrook essentially said, "Hey, I don't care if there's going to be some hardships or competition. I'm gonna stick with this team, and we'll ride it out, and we're gonna do some great things."
Yeah, I definitely see Westbrook's competitive side as the same as MJ's competitive side,
Yeah,
but I disagree completely that Westbrook is a younger version of Michael Jordan because Michael was a phenomenal shooter, in my opinion, especially in the mid range. And
yeah,
Westbrook is not the same type of shooter that Michael is. Westbrook is probably the most explosive and dominant point guard we've ever seen in the game, and he is a great player, future Hall of Famer, and will definitely go down as a legend, especially in Oklahoma City if he stays his whole career. But Michael, time and time again, has thrown shade to LeBron James. He doesn't give him his due. He even said that Blake Griffin should star in Space Jam 2, which is kind of completely left field in my opinion,
yeah,
because
definitely.
Blake Griffin is not even a first tier or even a second tier star in my opinion.
No, he's not in my book either. And I definitely agree with your point there. When it comes to competitive and stuff, they're in the same boat. But I've always had one knock on Russell Westbrook, and that's his shooting. He literally just throws the ball up there. Last time I read a stat, he's 5 for 37 on game-winning shots. Michael was never close to that. I mean, him and Kobe and Michael are all the same when it comes to competitiveness. But if you want to compare them as players, it's tough because he's not really a good shooter, and he's a great player. He's explosive. He's athletic, but he's got to stick to the point guard role a little more or improve his jump shooting because that's the one knock I've always had on Russell is his shooting is not great whatsoever.
Oh, most definitely. And what is your take on who should star in Space Jam 2? Should it be LeBron James? Should it be Blake Griffin? Or should it be someone completely different entirely?
That was definitely throwing shade. I agree with you on that. Saying Blake Griffin, I love Blake. He's from Oklahoma. He's a great dude. I've talked to him before, but I just can't see him starring in a movie. That's definitely LeBron's gig. You could have argued Kobe, but now that he's retired and out of his prime, this LeBron's in his prime right now. He's doing what he said for Cleveland. Fans love him, some hate him, just like MJ. That's without a doubt in my mind who should be starring in Space Jam 2, if there is one.
Yeah, personally, I think that they should not touch Space Jam 2, but if they do it, I definitely think LeBron should do it because he's the best player in the league. He's the star of the league. And even though Steph Curry has had two MVP seasons, I don't think he's ever fully took over the top spot from LeBron James, even though he's had a little bit more media coverage the last couple of years.
Yeah, and even kind of touching on that, if you're around our age or older and you've seen Space Jam, it's got some flashy dunks and more driving to the hole and stuff like that, which is definitely why Steph couldn't do it because he doesn't drive to the hole for nothing. He's a shooter. LeBron could have some flashy dunks and stuff, but we'll see if it even gets made. I've been hearing for the last 7 years that LeBron was going to be in Space Jam 2, but really no headway's been made, in my opinion. But I agree with you. If there is going to be someone that should be in Space Jam 2, it's LeBron.
Okay, so now we're going to switch over to the Olympics because I definitely can't stop this show without talking about the Olympics, what's happening in Rio. One I saw before the show started today, and I wasn't going to talk about it, but I'm going to talk about it now, is what is wrong with Team USA? I'm talking about the basketball team. I've seen them play the 3 games so far. First game, they destroyed China. We absolutely expected that. But in the second game, in the first quarter, you struggle against Venezuela.
Yeah.
Come on. They only scored 9 points the previous game against Serbia. 9 points in the second quarter against Serbia. And you struggle against that team, and you're supposed to be the best team in this whole tournament. And then today, before the show even started, they barely beat Australia. I think they beat them by 8 points or something like that. It was absolutely ridiculous. And I want your take on this because I've said this for a couple weeks now. I don't think Team USA even wins the gold medal this year.
Yeah, the way they've been playing, they could slip up and not win the gold. That second game with Venezuela, I was eating Mexican food, and I looked up and I seen the score, and I was like, man, I don't even know a player on this team. But later, I seen Kobe tweet that his cousin or something played for Venezuela. But still, that's one player. I, I, and even with that game, me and a couple of buddies were joking around. Maybe they just had a rough night, partied a little too hard. But that philosophy is proven false now because they're struggling with Australia and Serbia. I mean, I wasn't on here a couple of weeks ago, but you said that you expected their toughest task to be, Spain or
Lithuania.
Lithuania, Spain, France, teams like that. And Spain always gives them a run for their money. And if they keep messing around, they're going to lose to one of these teams because they still got a couple of games to go. And I don't know what it is. I'm just going to go with lack of chemistry because something's definitely wrong there that they're not. They should be blowing people out of the water. I don't care if we don't have LeBron and Steph and people like that. We still have the best athletes in the world. KD, Boogie Cousins, Clay, people like that are still stellar guys. And I can't even name a person on any of these other teams. They should be blowing them out the water. So if I had to give my take on it, I'd say it's a lack of chemistry or they're just not taking it seriously because it's even a joke that people were comparing them to the Dream Team after seeing these last couple of games.
So do you think that USA is going to get a gold medal still?
It's a tough question. I'm going to go with I'll say yes, but I think it's going to be a really close couple of games for them. It's not going to be easy. We'll definitely see if they're battle tested or not. When a team comes out and hits them in the mouth and they start losing instead of just struggling with them, we'll see if they can battle back. But I'm going to go with yes, they will still win it, but by the skin of their teeth. I think they'll be lucky to win the gold unless they start playing the way they should.
Yep. Honestly, I think the team is going to win the whole tournament, and this may surprise you. I think Lithuania is going to win the whole thing because the teams that they struggled against in the first quarter, like I said in a previous game against Venezuela, I don't even know what rank they were, but Australia is 11th ranked team in the world. How you struggling against that team? You haven't even faced the top 5 teams yet. You haven't faced France yet, even though they lost against Australia, even though they lost Australia. And you haven't faced Lithuania, you haven't faced Serbia, and you also haven't faced Spain. Luckily, they're still in the preliminary stage, so even if they did lose today, it wouldn't hurt them because they would still be at the top of their group.
Yeah.
But it's about to come down to the elimination round pretty soon, and they can't afford to mess up in the quarterfinals, the semifinals, any of that type of stuff. So they got to get it together. But I do agree that it is a chemistry issue, and this isn't, the top tier guys. These are more like second tier or third tier guys besides KD. KD's the only probably first tier guy they got on their team. Everyone else is kind of, the second or third options if there was a group that they had to pick from. Kyrie's a great player, and he's probably as close as it gets to being in that first tier. But, like I said, they missing a Steph, missing a LeBron, missing, a Kawhi Leonard, players like that that can definitely round the team the right way.
Yeah, this reminds me of the All-Star game and even Golden State in the finals this year is they don't really have any big man besides Boogie and old boy that plays for the Clippers, name's DeAndre Jordan. That's really the only two big men they have. So when they do play Lithuania, they're going to struggle a little bit because those big men are going to give them some problems, just like the Warriors struggled with Cleveland later on. And they got to play defense. I mean, it's not an all-star game. You can't just shoot up the ball and run back. If you want that gold medal, you got to play some defense and get things together.
But that's probably the biggest problem with this team. They really don't have that many great defenders on the squad. Like, probably the best defender they have is DeAndre Jordan. But besides that, who in the starting lineup is known for their defense for Team USA?
Kyrie shows some flashes sometimes of brilliance with his steals and athleticism. But outside of Kyrie and Boogie Cousins and Jordan, there's really no one that I think, man, that dude's great at defense. Everyone else just kind of James Harden in it out there.
Oh, yeah, Paul George. I forgot about him. Yeah, he's a great defender too. But, yeah, besides those two, and Boogie, because of his size, can definitely do that too. But, yeah, definitely those three, and that's about it. But we're going to move past to our next point, and I don't know if you guys watch this that are watching back at home, but Michael Phelps, he did it again last night. He beat Chad Leclos, the guy who I'm not sure if you guys saw on social media or anything, but that dude was taunting the mess out of him the day before yesterday. And I knew he was going to get beat the moment that he did that because you don't poke the bear. He's the most decorated Olympian ever. And you just don't do that. He's won 19 gold medals prior to that point, and he didn't even medal. That's how pathetic that Chad Leclos really was. If you're going to taunt like that, you got to back it up and actually get a medal. If you don't get a medal, then what was the point of all that showboating you were doing the day before, thinking you were going to destroy Phelps and beat him and then make him look silly?
Yeah, I really thought it was funny. I like Phelps, probably arguably the greatest Olympian of all time. I've seen pictures of him stretching with his hands all out of whack. I don't even know if the dude's human, but that Chad Leclos dude, that kind of sat wrong with me. If someone's that good, you're not going to win mind games. You're not going to poke the bear. And Phelps tried to play it off and say that he wasn't even really trying to pay attention, but you knew you could see it at the end of the race when he was telling the cameras to come in and he was number one. I thought it was great, though. Old boy didn't even medal, and then they showed his dad and how upset he was. That's just what happens. When you're going up against such a good competitor, you don't want to give them another reason to beat you.
Yeah, most definitely. And to top it all off, he didn't win just one medal last night. He won two. He won also the 4x200 race too, which was really impressive that he had that much left in the tank to be able to win two medals in pretty much, I think it was within like an hour and a half, 2 hours, something like that, which was crazy that he has that much stamina to do that many races and have that much endurance to get it all done, finish it. It also helped that he had good teammates to carry him. He even had the guy who won gold medals last year, Ryan Lochte.
Yeah, that dude's good too.
He wasn't as good as he's not as good as he was 4 years ago, obviously. And the announcers were even saying that he was probably 90% of the athlete that he was 4 years ago, but he still got it done and had enough to be able to give Ryan Phelps the chance to get it done.
Yeah, I definitely
Michael
agree.
Phelps to get it done. My bad.
Yeah, his story is just incredible. He was talking about the last Olympics that he didn't train. He was drunk half the time, and even with him training now, the girl that won the Olympic gold, I seen her say halfway through the race, I was like, I'm about to throw up, and then I finally hit that wall. And that's one race. He had two within 2 hours. To have that much stamina, and even after the first race, Chad Leclos, is so tough because he comes on strong at the end. So Phelps needed that extra push at the end, which he gave, won the medal, and then he got short rest and right back at it. That's pretty incredible for someone to do that back to back like that. I didn't expect it, but just proves he's one of the best Olympians around.
Yeah, I was impressed, and I was also impressed with Katie Ledecky. That's probably the other woman you were talking about.
Yeah, that's her.
Yeah, that's been killing it, and apparently they said that she's won uh, gold in like 14 different events. Like she's never lost an event that all the racing swimming events that she's done, which is very impressive.
Yeah, she's a killer athlete too. She's almost the female Michael Phelps. She goes out there, gives it her all, and kicks butt. I've seen pictures of her as a little kid with Phelps and Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now she's out there, and she's still super young too. So it'll be exciting to see where she goes from here. But I'm impressed with all our U.S. swimmers.
And the last thing we're going to talk about that's Olympic related, because I can't wait for track and field. That's going to be awesome. But we're going to talk about that when that actually happens, and that is, we're going to talk about what do you think about the gymnastics team, our women's gymnastics team?
Man, they're just incredible. I mean, they're one of my favorite things to look forward to each Olympics, just because I've always liked gymnastics. It's cool, and they have to have so much agility and power, and that team is just incredible. The final five, I was really impressed with them.
Yeah, Simone Biles is impressed me more than anybody because of just how incredible she is, and I don't know if you saw yesterday how even when she thought she messed up, she was so hard on herself, and she
Yeah,
still killed it. Like she had like a 14.3, I mean 15.3, and she was upset about that. Most people would kill for that type of rating because the perfect score is like a 16.5.
yeah, that's where the competitiveness comes in. I'd just be happy to be at the Olympics myself, but she strives to be the best, and you can tell. I even seen someone tweet last night. They said she's more athletic than the other 7 billion of us on the planet. Even when she screws up, she makes us look bad. So she's another athlete for the U.S. has some really stellar athletes this year.
Did you see that also Gabby Douglas got um, the media was on her because she didn't put her hand over her heart when they were doing the
Yeah, yeah, I saw that. I mean, that's something that we all should do. But I mean, she's probably in the moment and not thinking about it. It's really ridiculous how much they scrutinize people these days. I saw an NBC announcer accidentally called an athlete's parents their grandparents, and they made him personally call to apologize. I think they need to take it easy on ridiculing people. She just one of the biggest moments of her life. You can't ridicule her for one small mistake like that.
Yeah, I mean, and it's not the first, and it won't be the last person that doesn't do that when the national anthem is being played for their particular country.
Yeah,
And I mean,
yeah,
these people are young athletes, so like you don't want to completely over, analyze everything and destroy their, their chances, of a moment that's only going to happen once every 4 years for them. And this will probably be her last opportunity. So let her have her moment. Don't scrutinize what she's doing. She didn't mean it. She probably is apologizing right now about it, but she didn't think
yeah.
about it as some anti-American thing to do.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. It's not like she had planned to go out and do that and try to make a statement. It was just heat of the moment, and it's just something you got to let slide. It's not some. If she would have went out there and did it on purpose, this would be a different story. But just let her enjoy her moment. Not many people get to have that, so that's my take on it.
And the last thing before we go, do you think that Simone Biles is going to get 5 gold medals?
Yes, I do. She's just a incredible athlete. Really, never seen anything like it when it comes to gymnastics. But outside of Michael Phelps, that's the most talked about person I've seen in the Olympics so far. She's really incredible, and like we were saying, even when she makes a mistake, she's that much better than people. So I think she'll get 5 medals, and I don't think it'll be too hard for her to do either.
Yeah, she's a most people consider her as the greatest gymnastics athlete ever, and I actually agree with that. And like I said, I feel like getting that 5 gold medals is definitely gonna put a cap on that great run that she's had. Because like I said, she's never lost a competition,
Yeah,
which is absolutely incredible. And it's a shame that she couldn't participate 4 years ago because she was slightly under the age
yeah.
requirement that they had, or she probably would have more medals at this point and would cement her legacy as the greatest. But I definitely think we'll see her again. And uh, um, before we go, where can people find you on social media if people want to look out for you?
All right, I'm on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. Um, all that is D Standridge 92, and then on Facebook it's Dylan Standridge, Dillon Standridge. You can find me on all of there. Me and Cam talking about sports all the time, and you want to read some fun articles or see our takes on stuff, you can check us out.
All right. And if you guys want to find me on my Twitter, it's Cam Perry 21. Also on my Facebook, you can just look up me on Google, search, it's Cam Perry. And on Instagram, it's CP Scott 1. And if you want great articles, check out realsport101.com. Or you can also check out my personal site at camperry.co. Appreciate you guys tuning in. It was a late show tonight. Sorry about that. We made it a little bit shorter for you guys so you guys can enjoy it. Watch either tonight or tomorrow morning or whenever you get home from work. I hope you guys appreciate it. Send your questions in at the cam18@gmail.com and I will answer them on the next show. Appreciate it. God bless.